Welcome, OMP community. This is our video for our Open Mainframe project for the OMP mentorship called the Zowe App Store UI. Myself, I am Lenny. I'm the mentor, and my two lovely mentees, Sidharth and Priyansh. You're welcome to go on the next slide. So, uh, our introduction for the App Store. As a concept, it's fairly simple. It's an app that allows us to download and install other apps. And there's no major change for Zowe here. For the Zowe App Store, it will as well be an application to download and install apps. So I'll take it away to my fellow mentee, Sidharth.
Hello everyone, I'm Sidharth Mohanty. I'm currently a fourth year computer science student from India. And in the past 3 months, me and Priyansh were working on this amazing project, App Store UI. And we were like kind of building an upper layer of abstraction inside UI by using ZW components commands underneath. So like, why does Zoe need one? That's the question. Like previously, previously it was like only able to install apps by using local URLs and local paths. So only plugins that were present inside the system that we were like taking from FTP or GitHub or any other services were only possible. But now, like with the release of Zoe 2.5, the ZW components commands now support yeah, like installing plugins from registries as well. So you can have your in-house registry that you are using, and you may want to use that for faster rollouts of applications. Yeah, that's out of the way. Like yeah, so you don't even now with App Store, you don't even need to like go to the terminal and use those like commands, and you can just simply use the App Store inside virtual desktop, and you can install, upgrade, or uninstall any app that you like want to. Yeah. Going with the demo, I would love. This is so we now have a like new systems app called App Store here. When we go to the App Store, we can see a discover page where all the plugins are mentioned. Uh, we can install it directly from here, or we can go to the details page and like learn about what the app does, and find their GitHub links or license and install it from here as well. Uh, this install button like calls a ZSS data service from on the ZSS server, which gives us which calls ZW components install command, and basically like installs the app inside our virtual desktop. So this was the functionality of the Discover page. On the on-premise page, we can add our own registry URL, which in turn will populate the apps using search, because it will use this registry to find all the components and plugins, or as well as like with these plugins, it will also like add the other plugins from there as well. For the update screen, we are planning to have a check for updates button, where when we click on check for updates, the apps can showcase that have a data service call to the ZSS server, and showcase that this app is ready to be upgraded, so we can directly update it from there. Pretty similar to like App Store functionalities. Uh, yeah, for the installed apps page, we will have all the installed apps here, so we can take a look directly, take a look at the apps directly from there. For the settings page, we will have a functionality for the users to like have a like local URL, like USS Unix systems URL. So here, when we use the URL, we can use that Zoe config to like power power the apps and use the configuration from there. Like let's say we have different handlers and like different registries by default from there. We can use it from here. In the future, we are planning to add an upload button where a user can directly upload a Zoe config file here. And for the help page, we are like mentioning that you can like follow these steps and like use these like uh, these parameters inside Zoe config to access your uh, to use the extension registry functionality. Uh, yeah, apart from that, do I need to anything else?
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's great. Nice job. Do you want to take it over to Priyansh now?
Yeah, sure. So moving on, Chen, now to you, Priyansh.
So yeah, like as you all know, application is never complete without a backend. So let's see the whole overview of the project, what happened there. So inside the virtual desktop, we have our app store, the Zoe app store. What it does, like to install these applications in a one click, what it does, it makes a call to the ZSS server. Now coming to the point, what actually is a ZSS server? Yeah, it is. I too didn't know it in the beginning. So like it is a server which basically provides you system privileges to the ZOS. So like you can make system calls or like some high administrative calls to the ZOS with the help of ZSS server. Now we are basically using the ZSS server to run our ZWE commands, as Sidharth mentioned. After like coming off ZWE commands, it's actually a very easy process to install a plugin on a mainframe system. So that's why we are using a ZSS server to run these commands. And when these commands are successfully run, we get a response back. And like we will see how this all happens. You So let's see the diagram. Like we have an app store. The tiles are located here. Now, when the user presses the install button or like update button or search button, what happens with that? It makes a call to a ZSS server, Zoe System Services server. What is and the call is made through a data service which we have written. The data service basically does all the functionality, and how it does is with the help of a system call. Like in all other programming languages, you might have seen a exec call. So similar to that, we have a system call to run a command on the command line in the ZOS. So that system calls run the ZWE commands such as ZWE install, ZWE search, ZWE upgrade, and once they are successfully run, we got a response from the server like, yeah, your task is being done, and the user has a successful plugin installed on his system, and he can just go to the plugin and run it and enjoy it.
So,
Yeah.
other contributions, right?
So like moving forward to our other contributions that we did in this period, like I created a to-do application, like basic to-do application using the app framework and like using React. I upgraded the Webpack version there and also like you use the latest React so that we get best of both worlds and like this like has the bare bone structure to like so that we can like in the future create multiple applications with these uh, and I also created a Zoe apps playground where to like just this contains this window and we can create our application inside the window. This will be a faster process to like prototype an UI so that like the user knows what he's expecting because like when we are using our own Webpack plugin, the build process is like bit slow and we need to refresh the application every time we do it. And I also like made a like small contribution to the docs, upgrading the components commands. Yeah, and this was it. Moving to you, Priyansh.
Okay, so coming to the contribution as a contribution, like the whole journey has been nothing less than a roller coaster ride. I have got to learn a lot, and initially, like it gave me a lot to explore various other things which Zoe provides us. So starting with like one of the most common thing which I saw in the beginning, like many of the plugins or like the components never had the support for Node version 16. So what I did, I added the support for these by updating the required dependencies and all. Starting with the Zilix App Manager, that was the first component where I with the help of Lenny, I updated the dependencies which are needed for running it successfully on Node v16. Then similarly moving to the Zoe editor, which is actually the most popular out there, and it was really fun to use it too. And while updating those dependencies, I found out there was some issue with the resize event in the Zoe editor. So I was just intrigued to solve that part also. To it was actually challenging in the beginning, but with all the help from the community, we were able to figure that out. And I guess now the issue is no longer there. Finally, once we got in the momentum, I was working on the complete data service, which is actually one of the best things that I did. Sidharth, can you move to the next slide so that I can conclude here, that learnings
Okay.
also I can do. Then you and Lenny can continue.
Okay, sure.
So, okay, I'm starting. So yeah, this journey has been. I'm very grateful what I have got throughout, what I got to learn, what I got to explore. It has been filled with lot of obstacles, but eventually, with all the help and support, we have come through them. And now I can definitely say, even if you put a hurdle in front of us, we can figure that out at any cost. Now that's like a guarantee. One of the most important thing which got my attention in the beginning, I was actually surprised how a complete virtual desktop was just ran using a normal web framework, which I never thought was possible. But
Right.
when I actually started exploring the Zoe, I got to figure out how amazing it can be, how different frameworks were interacting with one another. It was not just you can create with Angular only or React or iframe, but yeah, it was a combination of all. And then after that, one of the best thing was when I got to write the data service part, we all are living in a world where abstraction is at its peak. You just have to line a single line to connect to database. You have to write a single line to give a response. But writing the data service in C was actually challenging in the beginning, but with all the help and efforts, I was actually able to understand, and I got to learn so much about what goes behind the scenes, how a response was sent, how logging was done, how actually do we receive the request, what do we need. We need a WebSocket to actually listen to a request every time. How everything was done, that was actually mind blowing and fascinating, which I have been missing. Lastly, I'm very thankful to Lenny and Siddharth for all their help and guidance throughout this period. And a big thanks to Randall, France, and Ross for teaching us throughout the a
Absolutely.
lot.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Um, yeah. Yeah. Zoe is very wide indeed.
Yeah,
Lots of components and yeah, even just focusing on the app framework and the desktop itself, it's very vast. So
yeah, that is also very vast. So, yeah, so that was the point, Lenny. That grabbed my whole attention. How such a complex thing can be done with such so fundamental things, like just a web framework we are using to create such a great thing.
right.
I don't have words.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And before we get to my part, Sid, do you want to go back to your part for your what you learned?
Uh, Yep. Pretty similar to like what Priyansh said. Yeah, the apps framework architecture was so intriguing and so interesting. We got to learn a lot about how like virtual desktop works. Desktop within a desktop was concept was like really mind blowing. Yeah, I also like got to learn a lot about Linux commands, and working on the ZOS machine was like incredible. We got to like use a mainframe system, so we had to do everything on the terminal, so it was really amazing process. Yeah, I also got to learn a lot about Webpack 5 because like the other Webpack configurations are a bit older, so like we needed to migrate it to the newer version so that like we can get like faster bundles and less bundle size, and like have some extra plugin support from the community for React as well as other frameworks, Angular and Angular, I guess. Yeah. Uh, Yeah, and I would also like to mention the teamwork. It was like definitely amazing to work with Priyansh, and um, I got to learn a lot about new technologies, and different perspectives were thrown around. So I really got to like broaden my thinking capabilities there. So it was like awesome working with Priyansh, and I hope it was likewise for him. Yeah, for the mentorship part, I would like to thank Lenny a lot for the entire period. Like he listened to all our queries, and frequent meetings, and he was like we had doubts, we would have doubts, and he would like just solve it within 2 or 3 seconds. So it was like awesome to like have a chat with him, and we also like gained a lot of life experience during these 3 months, because he was like kind enough to share like his life experiences. And it was not only like limited to the project itself. It was like how we can progress throughout our career. So
Yeah.
it was an awesome learning process. uh, Thanks, Lenny. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys. Um, yeah, I mean, you guys summarized it well, through the what you learned sections and through the demos that you guys showed. And uh, given the sheer width as well of the project and how big that stack is, ranging from, you know, ZOS and C and web development frameworks like Angular and React and TypeScript. There's a depth there as well. And with, working with the Python mock server, um, understandably that, some ums and some maybe some pauses are very understandable, talking about, such a wide project and, great idea, well-defined project idea, but Zoe as a whole, is very large. And I think you guys navigated it very well. And I'm overall very happy, with all the work that the three of us did together. If you want, you could move on to my section here. Um, Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, overall, firstly, very thankful for, you guys. You two are very talented engineers. And I know, at the same time, you've got school things going on. Um, and, overall, thankful for you guys. Um, uh, and as a result of that, I learned a lot of skills as well along the way. Probably more here than I wrote in this page. But firstly, there was an interview process that you guys went through and many others went through. And, I still talk to some of those folk there. And so learning more about that, refining that, you know, part of my skill set is what I learned as well, and communication, as well, how to manage time, how to delegate tasks, how to split, uh, objectives into consumable bits, right, that each one of us can do. And with that comes, architecting as well, right? I think we designed and we architected along the way, and we've made decisions that we stick with until now. We've made decisions that, a couple weeks down the road, we're like, well, maybe we want to do this, maybe this should change. And I think we handled that very well as well. And lastly, we had some big obstacles as well, especially you, Priyansh, with open mainframe development on ZOS. That was a big obstacle that continues to be a big obstacle. Hopefully, for anyone watching the video, maybe that gets easier for them down the road. Um, but we went through those as well, and we still made very decent progress despite itself. Doing development on Z right now is tricky. There's um, authority and security challenges with doing open development, but I think we got through them. And so I think it's time to close us out, right? What's our next slide here? Yeah, so thank you to everyone. Well, I'll mention the OMP and Yaril as well. Thank you for all those folk for helping manage our project. And secondly, once again, saying it again, thank you to both of you guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Lenny. Thanks a lot. Like,
we can't say it enough.
yeah, actually, we
Yeah.
have like not a single moment it was. It was the like it will be. We are not going anywhere. We will be keep disturbing you like this only
Yeah.
for quite some long time.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. No, I think we can wrap it up here. I know you
Yeah,
guys have exams to study for, so no worries there. Yeah, I think that
yeah.
was
Let
a
me
great
take a
overview.
screenshot.